The biodiversity can be defined as the vast array of species of microorganisms, alga, protista, fungi, plants, animals, and all the different organisms which are found on the earth, either in the terrestrial environmental condition or in the aquatic habitat, and also the ecological complexes of which they are a part of. The biological diversity tends to differ as we move from one place to another, depending on the environmental conditions of that area and even the temperature variations which the organisms in that area are tolerating. So, depending on the temperature and environmental condition, the quality or quantity of organisms it may vary from one place to another, and they may have resemblances on the basis of the same. It is our prime duty to conserve all the biodiversity which is present on the earth. The reason for that is that all these organisms they have a kind of interaction among themselves, and if we tend to, or if any of these unit which is or biodiversity tends to get extinct, that will lead towards the extinction of the organism whichever is linked to them. So this is a reason why we need to conserve all the organisms. In a biosphere there is an immense diversity, so in order to categorize them we have certain levels, and those levels are defined as the levels of biodiversity. On a wider spectrum we differentiate organisms on the basis of the ecosystem or ecological diversity, and as we move towards the narrower spectrum we move into the genetic diversity of the organism. So let us look into details about the ecological diversity or ecosystem diversity at first. When we talk about ecosystem diversity, it means that we are talking about, or we are interested in discussing about the different habitats of an organism. Habitats, when I say, it can be a terrestrial organism or an aquatic organism. If it is a terrestrial organism, then the kind of habitat it can have a grassland habitat, a forest, or a desert habitat. Similarly, if an organism is aquatic, they can be either freshwater or they can be marine. So, on the basis of this, there can be different habitats, there can be different nick, or there can be different kind of species interactions which are ecological diversity of organism may show. So, generally, it is said that ecological diversity is an assemblage of species living in the same area and interacting with an environment which is quite similar to all the organisms present in that area. Generally, ecosystem or ecological diversity is classified into three categories. Those three categories are the alpha diversity, the beta diversity, and the diversity, depending on the kind of organisms present in each of the community or each of the category. Alpha diversity, it means within community diversity. What does that mean? That it means that the number of species in the given community or habitat, they have similar species diversity, and there is a species richness in case. For example, think about an area which has three different kinds of birds. Now each of these birds, they will be having they all are adding towards the species richness of that area. So three communities are there which are present together and they have a correlation between them. So the number of species and even the diversity which are present at a given area will be interacting on the basis of the kind of resources which are present, and even on the quality of each of these organisms consumption. The abundance of species will be determined that which organism is going to grow and which is not going to sustain. So alpha diversity, it depends on the species richness of an area. Second is the beta diversity. It means that it is a kind of interaction which occurs between the community diversity, where the main concern is about the greater evenness of the organism. So suppose a same area is there, but over here we will consider the organism to have a that organism to be having a beta diversity which has maximum number of organism of the similar type. So it beta diversity depends on the evenness of the organisms. So just for example, suppose this is a area. Over here we have three blue lines or three similar kind of organisms, two these type of organism, and one this type of organism, then what is beta diversity? Beta diversity will be three blue birds, will be the beta diversity. Similarly, if the same was the case and we were discussing about the first category, that is alpha diversity, we would have been considering that there are three varieties of organisms which are present, and that is alpha diversity. What about gamma diversity? It refers to the diversity of habitats in the whole geographical region. So over here it is more important that how many types of organisms are there. It can be an insect, it can be anything, but it is more independent of the fact that what organism is there. It is more dependent on the amount of diversity it is going to show in that area. So gamma diversity is about high amount of diversity, beta diversity is about the evenness, and alpha diversity is about the species richness of an area. Next category is of species diversity. It is defined as different kinds of organisms having relationships among the same species, and it refers to the number of kinds of species being found in that area. Species richness or species diversity is the main concern over here. It is important that the evenness or equability of the species is more important. Species evenness, what does that mean? It means that the relative abundance of one particular species in a area. And in our country, the areas which are considered to have high species diversity is the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats, because they are the mega biodiversity zones, and over there we can find various categories or quality quantity of species diversity in that area. Next is the most narrowest level of division, that is the genetic diversity, and it is more concerned with the different kinds of gene or genetic pool an organism is having. So different genes and combination of genes which are present within a species is known as the genetic diversity, and it allows population of species to adapt to environmental changes. Suppose temperature is going on increasing in an area, so the organisms which are present in that area, they tend to um, show modification in the molecular level of their genes so that the thermal resistance is built. Similar thing may have occurred over the course of time in the evolution, so that now we have those thermophilus bacterium. Those bacterium, they can survive very high temperature ranges, and it is only because of the temperature tolerances which they have developed over the course of time. So these are the three types of biodiversities which we should be aware of, and even the ecological diversity or ecosystem diversities details. The three types are also to be learned properly. Next thing which we come into or which we should know about is the species area relationship. There was a scientist or naturalist whose name was Alexander von Humboldt. He stated that within a region, species richness it increases with increasing explored area, but only up to a limit. Why? Because same area, if you go on exploring again and again, it is not going to increase the species richness within just 15 or 20 or 30 days. It needs a long period of time for an area to show some kind of evolution and increase its organism or species in that area. So that's why it was said that only up to a limit we can see the changes occurring in that area. According to that relationship between species richness and area for a wide variety of taxons, it can be number of any organism. Suppose a bat, suppose it can be an angiosperm, plant, mammal, anything. It turns out to be a rectangular hyperbola. You all can see a rectangular hyperbola which is formed if we are making count of number of species and in according to the area in which we are studying it. Now the kind of graph it shows is a hyperbola. If we try to draw a straight line, it is going to reach up to this kind of intercept. This is the intercept which will be formed. Now when we try to understand it, it shows a straight line on this logarithmic scale, and there is an equation which describes this. Log s is equal to log c plus z log a, where s is the species richness, a is the area, z is the slope of the line, c is the y intercept. Now value of z, it lies in the range of 0.1 to 0.2 regardless of the taxonomic group or present in that region. The slope of the regression line are quite similar in this case, and as a result, what do we conclude? We conclude that any organism, that the biodiversity changes with the change in altitude, and it also gives us an idea that it increases as one moves from higher to lower altitudes. Why? Because at the higher altitude there is less temperature, so this decrease in temperature decreases the kind of seasons which are present in that area. Temperature is also almost constant in that area, so the kind of organisms which are growing in that area or species which are growing in that area will be minimum quantity. Whereas when we move towards the temperate region, the temperature is going on changing, and with change in temperature we can expect that high variation of species can occur. So that's the reason why we say that species richness, it goes on increasing as we move from the poles towards the equator, or from colder regions towards the temperate region. So this is the same curve which is shown on the basis of just the hyperbola, and the intercept is shown over here separately, and the entire hyperbolic curve is there. You have to learn the equation. This equation is quite important, so please learn it along with these important points of to be noted, like what is s, what is c, z, a. All these factors are to be learned properly. Next important category which we should discuss about is the loss of biodiversity. Now we all are aware that because of the human intervention in the environment, we can see that there is a lot of loss of biodiversity, and solely human beings are responsible for it, because they are harvesting the natural resources without any limit, and they are not thinking about anything else other than their own benefit. We have already almost extinct, or we have almost used up all the fossil fuels which were present, and now the threat lies onto other factors, that is the organisms which are present, and even on the few varieties, or few almost endangered varieties of organisms which are found. So there are various causes for the loss of biodiversity. First is the habitat loss. Because of deforestation, we can see that there is a wide forest area which used to be a long range of forest area is completely degraded because of the human activities. Now since the forest is lost, similarly along with the forest, various categories of organisms which were found in that area is also getting extinct, and as a result we can expect that various types of organisms, they have also lost their lives because of the destruction of the habitat. If there is no forest, there will be no possibility of survival of organisms which stay or which are alive in that forest area. It can be a plant, animal, fungi, or any organism which survives in the forest area. Now what is the meaning of fragmentation? Fragmentation of the land, it means that initially there was large area, or yes, large area for forest. Now that large area had various kinds of interactions of organisms among themselves. Since the area has now come to a very small spectrum, suppose forest was of 50 acres. Now that 50 acres forest has been urbanized, and we are left with only 5 acres of forest. So what about that 45 acres? The kind of interaction of species which used to occur at 45 acres has been limited to just 5 acres. So the organisms which were the most fittest could survive, whereas the rest organisms which could not survive are already killed. This is known as fragmentation and loss of organisms because of fragmentation of land. Next is about the over exploitation. Similar area, suppose area was there which was a cultivation land and which was used by the farmers for cultivating or for growing vegetables. Now, since the same area is being used again and again without any um, generally when we are using a land, we should make sure that we leave it as such for a prolonged period, for some period of time, so that all the minerals and all the natural resources which have been exhausted by the plants can be replenished in the soil again. But because of the increased demand of like food, the and even it is serving as a source of financial upliftment of a category of people. So that is also a reason why these individuals, they go on exploiting the same land again and again, and because of that we can expect that the quality of the soil is degrading. Now the same variety of crops cannot be grown in the same area after say 15 or 20 years or maybe 30 years, because the richness of the soil is decreased because of over exploitation of the land due to agriculture purpose. So that is known as overexploitation. Alien species invasion. Sometimes we see that water hyacinth is a common example of that. Initially, water hyacinth was not present in our country, but suddenly, water hyacinth was introduced as a aesthetic plant or a plant which was beautiful. Later on, now it is a havoc. It creates a situation where it is acting, or it is a sole cause of eutrophication. So these invasion of alien species can lead to degrading the can lead towards the degradation of the quality of crops which may be growing in an area. Suppose we can also think about various hybrid crops which are used for this category, and some of the hybrids, they are good, but since it is capable of killing some of the pests, the killing of those pests may result in certain more predators which survived on the same pest, the elimination of those predators, and maybe those predators were helpful or beneficial for the environment. So ultimately, the loss of biodiversity or a particular species is taking place in this regard. So that is because of the alien species invasion. Yeah, the alien species can be some other plant like water hyacinth which was introduced in our country from some other place. It can also be because of the use of hybrid plants. Co-extinction, that is what I said. Suppose organism is there which is dependent on some second organism. We all have a food chain or a food web. Suddenly if we think about a particular plant, suppose plant A is there which is consumed, which is the sole food of B category of animal. Now let this plant be X, and the animal which consumes it is A. If X is extinct, A will also get extinct. And similarly, if the organisms which consume A and survive, they will also get extinct. So it is a kind of chain. So co-extinction occurs because of extinction of one organism. One organism will be eliminated, and as a result, mass extinction will occur because one will lead towards extinction of another organism, and so on and so forth. Few more points could be written. Hunting. If we go on killing some organism for our own purpose or our own benefit, then that can lead towards the elimination of that same species from the environment. Few people, they have an they enjoy killing some animals as a art of hunting. Suppose cheetah or you know various deer, they are hunted by various people. Even the rhino is hunted for its horn. Elephants are hunted for the teeth. So these organisms, if they go on getting eliminated because of hunting, or um, for the kind of good products or expensive products they provide to the human beings, that can lead towards complete extinction of the same species. That is the thing which has happened. Now the number of elephants, the number of rhino in our earth is going on decreasing because of the continuous exploitation for their skin and for their horn, for their teeth. So this is to be controlled. One more thing is there, that is fires. Sometimes in the forest, we see that fires arises, and even pollution can be a cause of biodiversity loss. We can expect that various organisms, they are getting completely eliminated from the environment because of the pollution of the environment and the decreasing level of the oxygen. So this has to be worked upon. There are various other ways by which we can make these transformations and eliminate the losses, uh, eliminate the causes of loss of biodiversity. We have to think about it in a planned way so that we can conserve the environment. That is the only way in order to sustain properly on this earth.